आयशा को मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि वो यहाँ पे आए और यहाँ पे सभी को प्रेरणा दे लड़ने की। जैसे हम सभी ने देखा कि आपने किस तरह से वहाँ पे सब माहौल क्रिएट किया था, किस तरह से इस फैसिस्ट सरकार से आप लड़े थे, तो हम चाहेंगे कि वो प्रेरणा आप हमें भी दें। आयशा जी।
Revolutionary salutation to the organizers of this great event here. I salute the martyrs who sacrificed their lives for our dignified existence. I salute our activists who are imprisoned under draconian laws. पहले मैंने दो चीज़ बताना था क्योंकि फर्स्ट वन मुझे हिंदी नहीं अच्छे से आती, so I am planning of speaking in English. And the other thing is that I have written an entire speech mainly because of the reason is that whatever things I speak or I spoke, there is a possibility of being misquoted and appropriated for the hidden agendas of Sangh Parivar, mainly because of my identity. That's why I have choose to deliver a written speech over here. Neel Salam, As-Salam, Intifada, Inqilab. Dear brothers and sisters in the fight against Brahminical fascism, I am standing here among you with immense pleasure and gratitude. I salute the courageous resistance of our Dalit Bahujan brothers against the casteist Peshwas 200 years ago. With that everlasting memories lying down here, we have gathered here to commemorate the struggle and sacrifice of our dear brother Rohit Vemula, who inspired us in this survival struggle against all forms of hegemony discriminations. As this conference hopes to serve as a platform to forge eventual alliance over the common grounds against the neo-Peshwai, Brahminical, Hindutva fascism and corporate capitalism, I would like to reiterate the significance of solidarity among the oppressed communities and classes in the current Indian political landscape. Our united struggles must hit the citadels of power with all the vibrancy and vigor. The institutional murder of Rohit Vemula in the University of Hyderabad and the enforced disappearance of Najib Ahmed in Jawaharlal Nehru University reveals that agents of the Brahminical fascism in the universities have selected students from the marginalized community as their targets. Rohit Vemula's humiliation and the Sangh violence against Najib should remind us that there are entrenched histories of casteism and Islamophobia even in the premier universities. These histories of subjugating students hailing from the deprived background include systematically discriminating against them at the time of entering university, alienating them within the university, or even erasing their existence itself, as in the case with the Najib Ahmed. While institutional murder of Rohit is intended to intimidate Dalit students into silence and the acceptance of Brahminical dominance in the universities, the enforced disappearance of Najib is intended to prevent Muslim students from aspiring to study in universities like JNU. Both Radhika Vemula and Fatima Nafisa have to face the double trauma of witnessing the death and disappearance of Rohit and Najib, while also negotiating for their justice with the same state which unleashed violence of them. The legacies of Rohit and Najib carried out by their mothers and the Bahujan students in the campuses as well as streets have shown us the path of education, organization and agitation for a dignified life and existence. It is evident in the matter of the fact that the potential mobilization of Bahujan students in the premier universities have made a significant impact on the existing casteist and Islamophobic structure and narratives. As we are witnessing a farmers' protest against the controversial Farm Bill, India has seen a historic struggle against the Discriminatory and Repressive Citizenship Amendment Act since its resolution was proposed in December 2019. Citizenship debate in India have been evolved with a tremendous impact over the lives of millions of people, often targeted through various agendas of the proposed NRC and NPR. With the enactment of the CAA in both the houses of the parliament, the struggle found new avenues of protest spanning through rallies, sit-in protest, road blockage and hartals. The anti-CAA, NRC and NPR protests were widely appreciated due to its democratic and inclusive nature and most importantly, its sustenance and spirit during the peak of malign hate campaign by the state missionaries and Sangh Parivar propagandists. While the initial struggles were coordinated by the students, the violent suppression over this peaceful protest led to the emergence of a more sustainable protest site mode which was modeled upon Shaheen Bagh across India under the leadership of Muslim women, student activists, journalists and socio-political group. The government in the center and state have been targeting the activists involved in the anti-CAA, NRC and NPR protest and with unjust arrest and detention. Students of Aligarh Muslim University and Jamia Millia Islamia faced much brutal suppression from the state missionaries since the protest started in December 2019. The peaceful protest sites and marches to the parliament were sabotaged by both the police and Sangh Parivar criminals with the hate propaganda and arrest. During the peak of struggle, the Sangh Parivar unleashed a violent anti-Muslim pogrom in northeast Delhi, murdering more than 40 Muslims in order to destabilize the protest sites. The state has been using the arrest and illegal detention of the leaders to frighten the common mass about the consequences of the dissent. A series of arrests are going on across the country even during the emergency condition of the COVID-19 pandemic, while putting the lives of the leaders at a grave risk. Student activists and leaders including Shahjeel Imam, Miran Haidar, Asif Iqbal Tanha, Natasha Narwal, Devankana, Khalid Saifi, Gulfi Shah, Akhil Gokoi, Ishrat Jahan and many more are under arrest under the various draconian law. Meanwhile, the Sangh Parivar culprits and hate mongers are continuing their propaganda with full impunity. Our leaders and activists are arrested and imprisoned after a bogus media trails on their people's activism against the fascism, including Baravar Rao, Stan Swami and Hani Babu and many others. In this troubled situation of state repression and the pandemic, protest against casteism, Islamophobia and the fascism must be carried on through all available programs. It is a high time for us to continue out our resistance with a rejuvenated vigor and sustenance. For long since the pandemic, we have been inside, we have been protesting through all the available online platforms. But it's high time that we should move back to the streets and we should start protesting against all the Sangh Parivar agendas which they have been coming up with. So I would like to conclude here with a quote from Malcolm X. Time is on the side of oppressed. It is against the oppressor. Truth is on the side of the oppressed. It is against the oppressor. You don't need anything else. Salam, duas, salutes.